Hello lovelies, I'm Christina and it is Vlogmas day 10. I know we had another day yesterday where we didn't post a video because life happened. I'm sorry, but we are back on track and hopefully we will get quite a few videos ready and done during the weekend. But today I'm going to show you the hardbacks that I've acquired over the last few weeks. I did a little bit of a birthday book haul unboxing a few days ago. So the books that I showed up there is not going to be repeated here, but there are a few of the books that I mentioned in my December TBR that I will show again here. So just bear with me. We're going to start up with the one that I've already shown you once before. The first one was the one that I've already read, and it is The Archer by Paulo Coelho. Like I mentioned, this is kind of a motivational story. It tells kind of a short story in the first part and then at the end of the book about an archer, and then it kind of compares being an archer and the craft to life and passion, and it's a way to kind of lead the way for a good life. I would say that this is more like a gift book that you can give to young adults or people that are going out into the world who are in a place where they want to figure things out. It's not the same as The Alchemist or any of the other books that I've read by Coelho, but it does kind of hit on the same theme of following your passion and your dreams. So I will talk more about this in my wrap-up. Should we also show what's underneath the dust jackets? I feel like we should. This one is quite beautiful under the dust jacket, actually. So look, it has the archer in gold, which I think is really pretty. So I feel like being a book nerd is all about looking at the book from every kind of angle, like with the dust jacket, without the dust jacket, the end papers, everything. That's just, well, I don't have to explain this. Fellow book nerds, you know what I'm talking about. Next up we have Ghosts by Dolly Alderton. As I mentioned in my TBR, this is Dolly Alderton's debut fiction novel. I loved her non-fiction book that I read, I think it was last year. It's about Nina, a 32-year-old woman who is kind of having an existential crisis because everything feels very mapped out and perfect in her life, and she's kind of waiting for something more to happen, it seems. She also has a mom who is going through a midlife crisis and a dad that suffers from early dementia. So from what I've gathered, this is supposed to be quite a funny book, but also heartbreaking and heartwarming at the same time. And Dolly Alderton is so funny when she writes nonfiction, so I really hope that it transfer over to her fiction work. Really curious about this, and hopefully I'll get to it soon. Now let's look at what's underneath the dust jacket on this one. Ooh, that's a pretty color. I just realized that I haven't really looked under the dust jacket on most of these books. So yes, just a beautiful pink color. Yeah, simple but pretty. Can I also say it kind of annoys me when they put like several blurbs on the front page of such a beautiful cover, because this one would have been so simple and so gorgeous without all this text. But now the last book that I've mentioned in my TBR video is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. This is a story about Adeline who in Paris in 1714 meets a man and does some kind of bargain that gives her eternal life, but in exchange to that no one can remember her or her name. And then 300 years later she ventures into a bookstore and someone does remember her name, and that changes everything. Everyone that I've seen on BookTube and Bookstagram that talks about this has loved it. So as I mentioned in my TBR, I am very intrigued, but also a bit worried that I will be disappointed, but hopefully I won't. Let's take a look underneath the dust jacket. Ooh. Okay, this is pretty. I'm not sure if you can see it, but it has like these birds. Really pretty, and the end pages are super gorgeous, and this one is also signed. I did not meet her, I did not go to a signing, but they did sell these signed editions at Outland, which I've mentioned before is my favorite bookstore here in Oslo. So that's The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, another book that I'm super excited to get to, hopefully soon. Next up, we have a book that I mentioned in the things that I'm looking forward to in 2020, a video I did this summer or in the springtime. I don't remember exactly when I posted it, but it was a video where I talked about, because of the pandemic, I wanted to focus on the things that I'm looking forward to. And one of the books that I mentioned that I was very excited that would be published this year was this one, Women Don't Owe You Pretty by Florence Given. This cover is so gorgeous. I am in love with it. It doesn't have a dust jacket, but it has that really kind of groovy 70s vibe, which I'm all here for. And then you have Florence Given on the back there, and it's supposed to be like a feminism nonfiction book. And I'm here for the body positivity and the reminder that women don't owe you pretty, and men don't either. So I guess we all kind of need that reminder from time to time, and I can't wait to dive into this. I think I really need it these days because, I don't know, postpartum is hard on the mind and on the body, and I've realized that I've been really hard on myself lately because it hasn't bounced back, and I know that's not something that is realistic or something you should expect, but it's just hard coming back from being really pregnant and then being not pregnant, but my clothes still don't fit, so I don't really have that many clothes that I can wear. So I think I really need this in my life right now. It's gorgeous. The end papers are just stunning and so much fun, and the whole book is just really colorful and beautifully laid out. Like this one where it says, maybe I'm too much, maybe my abundance just reminds you that you're lacking. Look at that. I mean, I'm in love with this book already, and I haven't even read it yet, but I probably should have put this in my December TBR as well, but it's already way too ambitious, and yeah, but I am excited to get to that one soon. Next up, we have sort of a mix of nonfiction and fiction. It is Memoirs and Misinformation by Jim Carrey and Donna Vachon. This is Jim Carrey using his experience in life and turning it into sort of fiction, from what I've gathered. So it says, it's a fearless, semi-autobiographical novel, brave deconstruction of persona, and a hilarious Hollywood stand-up so funny it burns. I mean, I love Jim Carrey. I've loved him since I was a little kid. So when I saw this one came out, I knew I had to get it. And I'm curious to see how he writes and how he tells his story. If he's anywhere as near as talented as he is as an actor, this is going to be a really wonderful ride. It's really pretty. It has this, I don't know if you can see it, but in the front here, it has this really beautiful pattern. And let's take a look at what it looks like under the dust jacket. Oh, it's just a plain black. So not really that much to show you. Plain white end papers as well. So I think the cover is interesting though on the dust jacket, but not much more to show underneath. And the last book that I have here, the last hardback. No, it's not the last one. I forgot to. The next one I have here is Pan's Labyrinth by Guillermo del Toro and Cornelia Funke. It's been so long since I've watched the movie, so I don't remember much about it. This enthralling novel, inspired by the 2006 film, illustrates that fantasy is the sharpest tool to explore the terrors and miracles of the human heart. Okay, so the movie came first, and then they did the book. I remember seeing this one on Instagram. I don't remember who posted it. But what drew me to it is the beautiful illustrations. I really enjoyed the movie, but it's been so long that I don't remember that much about it. So this is going to be kind of a nice reminder of that story, and I will probably rewatch the movie as well. Let's see what it looks like underneath. So it has a deep blue color underneath. Very simple, but the end pages are beautiful. It's just a never-ending labyrinth. Really, really stunning. Now I have two more that I almost forgot. So recently I bought two used books as well. I've been really getting into rummaging around on the internet trying to find beautiful Stephen King hardcovers and paperbacks as well. So I got two Stephen King hardbacks that I don't own. I don't own them in paperback either. And actually I haven't read these two, so that's exciting as well. It's always fun when I have new Stephen King books in my collection that I haven't read yet, so I have something special to look forward to. The first one is Cell. Civilization slips into its second dark age on an unsurprising track of blood, but with a speed that could not have been foreseen by even the most pessimistic futurist. It is as if it has been waiting to go. On October 1st, God is in his heaven, the stock market stands at 10,140, and most of the planes are on time, except for those landing and taking off in Chicago, and that's to be expected. 2 weeks later, the skies belong to the birds again, and the stock market is a memory. By Halloween, every major city from New York to Moscow stinks to the empty heavens, and the world as it was is a memory. The event became known as the Pulse. The virus was carried by every cellular phone operating in the world. Within hours, those receiving calls would become insane or die. This sounds amazing. Even though it is somewhat some kind of virus, I'm more on the side of wanting to read this than Survivor Song that I mentioned that had the kind of rabies virus pandemic going on. But this one sounds really interesting, and I look forward to getting to this. And I think it's stunning. I love this cover. Let's see what it looks like underneath. Plain black. The red letters on the plain black just gives it a little bit something extra, even though it's quite simple. At least in my opinion. And the end pages as well is bloody red. Very fitting for a Stephen King novel. Now the next one was kind of a surprise. I was convinced by the picture that I saw that this one was a paperback. So I was expecting a paperback, and then I got a hardcover, which is always a fun surprise. But it is Needful Things. This is what it looks like. Has a big ass picture of Stephen King on the back. And I think I have owned this in a paperback version at some point, but I have no idea where it has gotten to. At least I don't have it anymore. So when I saw this, I just knew I wanted it, and this is, as I mentioned, another Stephen King novel that I haven't read yet. It says, Leland Gaunt is a stranger, and he calls his shop Needful Things. 11-year-old Brian Rusk is his first customer, and Brian finds just what he wants most in all of the world, a 1956 Sandy Koufax baseball card. By the end of the week, Mr. Gaunt's business is fairly booming. At Needful Things, there's something for everyone. And of course, for everyone, there is a price. For Leland Gaunt, the pleasure of doing business lies chiefly in seeing how much people will pay for their most secret dreams and desires. And at Needful Things, the prices are high indeed. For Alan and Polly, this autumn week will be an awful test, a test of will, desire, and pain. Above all, it will be a test of their ability to grasp the true nature of their enemy. They may have a chance, but maybe not, because as Mr. Gaunt knows, almost everything is for sale. Love, hope, even the human soul. I remember why I bought this when I bought it as a paperback now, because it sounds like something that I'm going to love. It looks very plain underneath. Plain black, plain gold font. But I like the format of it. It's a bit smaller than the other hardback Stephen King books that I own, which I have a love-hate relationship to, because it kind of makes it a bit more unique. But then again, it doesn't match with the other ones that I have. And again, book nerds, you know what I'm talking about. But I think with Stephen King especially, I do tend to gravitate to editions that I haven't seen before, and this one was one that was quite unique. So I'm glad that I own it, and I can't wait to read this sometime next year. So there you have it. Those are the hardbacks that I've accumulated over the last weeks. Let me know in the comments down below which one was your favorite, and if you have a favorite hardback book in your collection. As always, I would love to know. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and hit that subscribe button and that bell button if you haven't already. And I will see you again tomorrow. Goodbye!